odd, Betsy. Anyway, hello. Just hit record. I know we've got some of you that are still trying to join us. So thank you to those of you that are here. I am on my boat. There's something really beautiful about being here because there is nothing like sitting on the water, surrounded by nature. And we are, for those of you that are local, you'll know I'm literally in Brotherton Avon Country Park, basically. So there may be some noises in the background, and that's it's a good way of you kind of meditating and getting used to the sounds around. But we are in this super flipping, I don't even know what to call it right now, without swearing a lot. I feel like we're in. I'm going to nickname it not the Capricorn Full Buck Moon, but Fuck Moon. It feels like I don't know. Stick a little kind of note in the chat, 1 to 10. Like if one is like yeah, it's like I'm all right, and 10 is like fuck, which is I normally do it around the other way, but it's like I feel like there's this ramping up of like 10 energy, and it's not good. I am definitely probably at 12 if 10 is fucked. Thank you for those of you that have messaged today privately and in the group. Layla's a 1.5, so she's sailing it. She's doing all right. 3 off the scale. Yep, Carrie Ann is with me off the scale. All right. I'm glad that I'm not the only sister that is there. That's because you and I just share weird DNA that's, but it's full, right? It's full. It feels full. And if you'd have caught me at any other time other than escape, I've like feel like I've cried for days. Mine's lower because I've had a day of yoga. Yeah, you're in your course. I hope it's going really well. Bless you. So Capricorn full moon, it's completion medicine, right? That is where we are. That is where we are meant to be. And it's not an easy place to sit because like when you begin to open more and more and more and more and connect more and more with the energy that kind of flows with these moons, it's very hard to then ignore it. And so if you're then surrounded by people who are ignoring it, it can become really frustrating. So that's been my experience of the moment. Let me see who is still trying to get on. Zoom keeps kicking me out. Oh no. Anyway, Rebecca also maybe is trying to get in too. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if like the bugs are out as well as everything else right now. And then Layla, lovely Layla, reminding me of Mercury retrograde. Thank you, because because I don't know why I can't, feeling much easier to ride the float. Yeah, do you know what? Like that's kind of so that is exactly how I feel. I feel like I've released and I've released and I've released and I've done so much work in these first 6 months of the year. But what that does is highlight even more the work that the people that I'm living with haven't done. And that's where I'm at. I can no longer just be okay with with the tidbits, with the kind of like, it'll be all right, and yeah, anyway, I could go into more of my story and I'll share that at the end for anyone who's still here and wants to connect on that level. But I feel like we are at 22, so let's dive into our evening in full. I do think there's a couple of other sisters that are joining us, so I'm not sure. Yay! Hello, love. Well done. Well done. All right. It's okay. We were just putting the world to rights a little bit. And I will crop the recording so that we start from this place. Otherwise, it's going to feel a little bit weird. All right, so let's just begin. We were just talking about, the Capricorn full moon being a completion medicine, and I was just literally saying that I'm going to change its name from the full buck moon to the full fuck moon because that's kind of how it feels. Feels quite full, quite strong, deep medicine. It's not soft, it's not sweet. It's like a reckoner, a liberator, like a fierce elder who's walked in with like bone truths and is clearing the way for what's real. That's the best way that I can describe my sense and feeling, and you will have your own sense and feeling of what that is. And we all can kind of gather and connect a little bit at the end for those of you that want to hang on and stay. But let's just take a moment to land. We are going to do this evening a little ritual, a little meditation, some journaling together. And we'll have some time at the end when I press stop on the record to just kind of be in circle together. But let's just gather your breath, ground your bones. Close your eyes if that feels good to you, and just have a little check-in with your body. What does your body need right now? Does it need a little bit of movement? Does it need a yawn, a stretch? What does it need to land more fully in this space? Just drawing on all of your own energy wisdom, filling back in all of the scattered parts of you that have been out in the world today. Bringing them gently home one by one, so that you can feel fully where you start and end and the rest of the world starts and ends. And you can know exactly where you are right now. Tonight we're standing in the presence of this full buck moon in Capricorn. It's the final full moon before the Lion's Gate, the harvest, the homecoming. And as I already mentioned, it's not a moon of sweetness. It's a moon of endings, of thresholds, of radical release. And as you connect back in fully with yourself, coming back to the space for a moment, just as we connect a little bit more fully. Just having a little look around the screen. See who's here with us. Yeah, I'm sleepy. Anyone else sleepy? It's hot. It's sleepy. I feel the privilege of our boat this evening. I came away to escape to the country. But as I explained to the others earlier, I am actually in a country park. So tonight it's full of runners, dogs barking, and the odd train going by. So apologies if that becomes a noise in the background. But Capricorn is like the elder of the zodiac, right? It doesn't ask how you feel about it. She asks, what are you still carrying that no longer belongs to you? And she asks you to put it down fully now. I've said it a few times, this is completion medicine. It's the clean, clear crack of the shell so that your soul can finally breathe. The scaffolding that you built to survive, it's kind of no longer needed, right? The version of you that's kept it all together, she's really fucking tired right now. And the performance just needs to crumble. It doesn't have a place anymore. So let this be the night that we all stop pretending. Let it be the night that we give thanks to what's ending. The night that we stand at the altar of our own truth and say, I'm no longer available for anything that asks me to betray myself. Right? Like that's the clear message that I am feeling right now. How does that land with you? Pop a little message in the chat if that lands with you, And also, what else are you picking up? Your inner wisdom, your inner guidance. I'm not here to be the guru. We're here to listen to our own inner wisdom. You know, I'm no longer available for anything that asks me to betray myself. Feels like that energy of like, I'm just done. I'm done. And I can't do the work by myself and hope that that it's all going to change around me. And not without kind of absolutely. I love that. And not without kind of betraying myself in some way, shrinking to fit everybody else. That's tomorrow's podcast, by the way. Probably going to record it in a minute. Done shrinking. Done shrinking. I'm not doing it. And that doesn't mean that I have to go out and swing from the fucking rooftops. It's not an ego place. It's a place where actually we go, enough. Sick of carrying the world on my shoulders. Yeah. Yeah, I hear that. Feeling this about work is no longer resonating. Yes, I hear that. I hear that. The lady that I'm doing some mentoring with today asked me to, and I'm going to say this in a kind of, she's asked me to kind of tonight sit with my journal and literally like kill off all aspects of Sacred Sister. And she doesn't mean kill them off for them not to come back. She's just like, it's 5 years old. There'll be things that you've done that don't need to sick of my husband being my third child. Oh my God, I hear that. Fucking hear that. Anyone else? Like, I know there's some nods around here. Like, I felt so disconnected today. I've cried a lot. It's like two stories being pulled apart. Yeah, the one that says I'm disconnecting, the one that says I'm not. Yeah, I really hear that. I'm really and remember that we're in this time of like this cancer time where it's like this kind of, I don't know. I feel like there's the hard exterior and the soft interior, and like actually the hard interior has to be one way and the soft interior is like the other. And it's like this two these I'm just done with having to put on the hard shell to feel like, that's okay. It's it's okay as it is. And actually, that I think is fundamentally the place that I got to today was just like, you know what, there are bigger fucking things going on in the world right now, and the ice queen is melting. That would be a private in joke between Carrie Ann and I, but literally, she's the ice queen. Seriously, like if I was near her, I'd hug her right now, and she'd cool me down. And I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. That ice queen needs to just have a bloody good cry. Um, Feeling love, but I'm not in love back. Yeah. Ooh, oof, oof. Yeah. I've questioned that a lot today. And this is going to sound really hard. And those of you that know my husband, it's like, how much do I really even love him? Like, do I? Really? Do I even have the capacity right now to love another human being? I don't even know that I do. I'm at this space in my life where actually I'm hard pushed to love myself, let alone anyone else. Like, that's the truth of what's kind of showing itself. And especially not if I have to betray myself to be something else to make that fit. I think that's the key. Do I need to crack myself open more to love, or is it just not the right person? Oh, yeah, I hear you. I hear you. So we're going to dive into some of those questions tonight, right? I wrote a prayer to Grandmother Moon, so feel free to close your eyes if you want to. Grandmother Moon, wise and watching, you have seen it all, the beginnings, the endings, the betrayals, the births, the unbecoming and the becoming. We sit beneath your ancient light, ready to lay down what no longer fits. Help us surrender with grace, help us release with reverence, and help us stop gripping what is already gone. Strip us bare, Grandmother, so that what remains is only real, only rooted, and only true. May we meet this completion with courage, and may we trust that what is rising is us. And so it is. And so it is. And I guess I just want to speak to, endings can happen numerous times in our life. even in the same relationships, even in ourselves. Just because something feels like it's ending doesn't mean that it doesn't have a place to go. But you do deserve to be met where you are. And that was exactly my last message to Chris when he went, "Are you okay?" It's like, "Yep, thanks." But if you're not going to step in and do some work, I'm not up for it anymore. And that feels like a big thing to say. And his response was, "I've just found my journal. I'll see you tomorrow." So, you know, so, and then I have to remember, and it makes me feel like such a bitch, he's massively dyslexic. So writing it down actually isn't his way of processing. Just because it's mine, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's his. But you know what? If he's going to give himself at least a moment to connect with himself, that would be great. So let's dive into a little meditation and then we're going to dive into some journaling. I'm going to invite you to get yourself super comfy, staying upright, feet on the floor if you can, or on the bed, wherever you are, just so that you can continue to hear my voice. Close your eyes, sister. Let your body find the earth. And let your exhale be the first offering that we make this evening. Following your breath. Letting your breath guide you inward. Letting it show you and illuminate to you what's really going on in your inner world. Continuing with your breath. Allowing yourself to let your shoulders soften, your belly soften. Your jaw unclench, your toes uncurl. Feeling yourself move slowly home to you. Letting the outside world slip away. Any noises, any sounds, any smells, any people, just letting it all drift away. Touching base more clearly with your inner world. Allowing yourself to go on a little journey with my voice. Just picturing yourself standing at the edge of a cliff. It's dusk. The sun is beginning to set. The moon is beginning to rise. The sea gentle. The smell of the air. Behind you is all of the story that you've outgrown. The skin that no longer fits. The scaffolding that has kept you upright even when you were crumbling. feel the weight of it, not as a burden, but as a truth. Now, in your mind's eye, turn towards a great fire before you. And this fire is sacred. This fire is clean. And this fire is the heart of the Capricorn moon as she blazes in the sky. One by one, an invitation to place into the fire all of the masks that you've worn, all of the roles and the labels, the old dreams that actually no longer burn inside you. The habits and patterns that are costing you your wholeness. And all of the parts of you still performing just to be loved. Watch them burn. Hear the crackle of completion. Feel the release in your chest. Not sadness, not regret, just truth. Now turn your face to the moon. Let her light fall on your bare, true self. And let her whisper into your bones. You are allowed to stop holding it all together. You are allowed to stop being the version of you that helped you survive. And you are allowed to begin again. Breathe that in. You're allowed to stop holding it all together. You're allowed to stop being the version of you that helped you survive. And you are allowed to begin again. Breathe it in and seal it in your body. Letting that moonlight rain down like a shower, taking everything to ground. Locking that moonlight energy in. Coming back to your breath. Finding your way back to yourself. Making a little stretch and a wiggle and a movement into your toes and fingers. We're going to come straight to our journals. I'm going to just pop these, if I can, into the chat box. So we have 5 prompts this evening, and we're going to spend a little bit of time in them. I've just popped them in the chat, but I'm going to read them through to you first. What is falling away right now? Not because I'm forcing it, but because it's truly complete. If you were to be really real with yourself right now, what's falling away? And that doesn't mean that it's not going to come back around. It just means that the version of where you've been and what's been moving you is complete. So what is falling away right now? Not because I'm forcing it, but because it's truly complete. What part of me is still pretending? And what would happen if I stopped? Like, what part of me is still pretending? And what would happen if I stopped? If I wasn't afraid of what might come to replace it, what would I let die? What would I let go of if I wasn't afraid of what might come to replace it, or that nothing might come to replace it, right? Like what that might look like is sharing with you today about my marriage, kind of like, you know, if I let that die completely, if I wasn't afraid of what might come to replace it, I mean, I'm afraid that knowing me, I'll probably fill it full of more shit and something even worse, because that's my pattern. So there's that part of me that's like afraid of, like, if I just let that go completely, what would that look like? What if I wasn't afraid of that? What would I let go of fully? And where in my life am I being called to step out of the performance and into radical truth? Where in my life am I being called to step out of the performance and into radical truth? And with that, what legacy am I ready to leave behind? Like, what new foundation am I ready to build upon? If something is moving and something is clearing, what does that legacy now look like? Pop them in the chat for you there. I'm going to journal together. There's quite a bit to journal on there. So I feel like, let's see. Maybe we'll journal for about 10 minutes together. And I'll give you some pointers towards the end of where we're at with our time. We're just coming up on that 10 minutes. You may have a lot more to uncover. This is quite a deep dive. Or maybe like me, it's just flowed onto the page this evening. Maybe just completing with a little moment of, what are those spirit words that want to move through you right now? If there was a message to come through from this beautiful full moon, just letting the pen move across the page without question and seeing what arises. Mm. Right. Just bringing that little moment to a close, or carrying on if that feels good for you, whatever. Take this evening in its flow, in its stride, whatever's moving you when you watch this. But I wanted to bring you just to this part of completion and real self-value. I want to talk a little bit about, the deeper reflection of self-value. It's like one more truth for Capricorn to kind of help us to face, and that is that others will only really treat us as well as we treat ourselves. And so we can sit here with the kind of feelings of our partners and the relationships, sisterhoods, the things that haven't really worked for us. But actually, if we really look in the mirror and turn that light back on ourselves, how are we treating ourselves? If we're constantly overgiving, underresting, saying yes when we mean no, then what are we teaching those around us about our worth? Capricorn brings structure. It's like not about building walls, it's about building a life that kind of honors the value of you. So ask yourself this. We're not gonna journal on this right now, but you might want to make a note of it. What am I currently modeling to my children, my partner, my friends about how I deserve to be treated? What am I currently modeling? What boundaries do I need to honor more fully in myself before I can expect others to respect them, right? Like I can sit and be in this place where I'm having a complete meltdown about my marriage, but actually I've also allowed it to get there. I've also let it come to that place because I've not held a strong boundary, because the fear is if I hold that strong boundary and say, no, this isn't okay, then it's just going to end anyway. Those are my things, they're not his. So what boundaries do I need to honor more fully? And we did this work in Bloom. You can go and find that in the sanctuary. But what boundaries do I need to honor more fully in myself? And actually, this one is kind of a bit icky, maybe. Where am I still seeking validation instead of giving myself permission? Where am I still seeking validation instead of giving myself permission? Because this is the moon to choose something different, right? To reparent ourselves, to say, actually, I'm the authority of my own life and my own worth. And from that place, you rise. And if you're in a relationship, this is some of the work that I hope Chris is doing now this evening, especially in a masculine feminine dynamic. It's a potent time to reflect separately and then kind of come together. So if you can get your partner to do it, it's great. Um, and the reason I say the masculine feminine dynamic is we're talking about, what do we believe our role is in the household? And that could be, female, female, male, male, like it could be any kind of combination of the above. But like what do you each feel if you've got somebody else in the household with you? What's their role in the household, in family life, in work and career, finances, emotional support? Right, what do you believe your role is, and what does your partner believe their role is? And this isn't a discussion. This is a take a pen and piece of paper and go in separate ways and write it all down. And that's what triggered Chris last night was like, I don't even know where to start because he never even thought about what his role is, and yet here he is doing it all. And then, like, where did those beliefs come from? What did you grow up around? What patterns did you witness in your parents or caregivers? What is societal about the roles that we're supposed to do? And are these roles chosen or are they just kind of inherited? And do these roles feel fulfilling or limiting? What would you change really if you felt fully free to choose again? And then come back together. Once each of you has explored the questions, come together and share your insights with one another, right? Like, listen deeply, not to fix or to defend, but to kind of understand. I know that my husband is stuck in this old paradigm of he has to be the sole breadwinner and he has to go and earn all the money and right now I'm really grateful that he is doing all of that, but I don't earn nothing. I might not earn equally to him, but I pay my own bills, I pay my own way, I do the things that I need to do, but in his mind he's the sole breadwinner and that's it. He doesn't do the food shop, I do the food shop. I mean, I'm not being funny, that's about as much as our rent right now, you know but he doesn't see that because it doesn't go in a bank account that he sees. So like that kind of, and I'm stuck in that old paradigm of, and again, don't get me wrong, he does housework. That we're not stuck in that kind of like I do the housework and he doesn't. But I'm stuck in that place of like I get up in the morning and I'm like, oh, what can I make my husband for dinner tonight? I wonder what he's going to eat. I don't fucking give a shit. He doesn't give a shit. He doesn't even know by the in the morning what he wants to eat at night time. Why am I thinking that? I've come to the boat and I've eaten some tortillas and some hummus and some olives. I don't need to cook dinner. It's hot. I don't want to eat that food, but I would go and cook a meal and probably still not sit down and eat it together because he's not even home when I'm hungry. So, what would it be like to just create new roles from love, not from legacy? What do we truly desire in our relationship, our home, like our shared life? We even had that conversation. Like, I think I've had it, but actually, I've probably just dictated. And he's gone, so I've got it all wrong again because his inner critic is right up high on the agenda, right? Feels like a little boy, his mum's telling him off. I know that there's some nodding kind of faces there. So let this moon be that moment where you let all of that stuff go, but you consciously choose what comes next, not based on the past, but based on the truth of who you are becoming. And I also know that many of you will be sat here going, my partner's never going to do that, right? He's not going to do that. I can ask, he's not going to do that. But ask the question, you know what? Hey, look, I've looked at my own role and I haven't, and I don't know what you think my role is, but here's what I think my role is. And just invite the conversation if they're not going to touch it. And it's touching because actually it brings up so much when you start to recognize what you've just inherited, what's just come along, what's been societally the way that we're supposed to be as women. So that's kind of this moon. I'm going to leave you with some final little ideas for the moon. Write a letter, write a letter to the version of you that you're releasing, like burn it safely somewhere and offer the ashes to the earth. A real burn and release moment. There's still time this evening to get that kind of words on paper. If you have a bath, and if you don't have a bath, get a foot bowl and have a really beautiful salt bath. Immerse yourself in cool water, I'm going to say, not too hot right now because it's bloody hot out there, but with salt and herbs, rosemary, sage, or kind of mugwort, the things that are in the hedgerows, and whisper to yourself, I am complete. Not broken, you don't need fixing, you are just as you are. And we can do this one right now, right? A little bone blessing. Place your hands on your body. Give it a little rub, hips, knees, and just thank your bones for holding you through it all, right? Like your body is your scaffolding, your bones hold us together, all up in your head. Give yourself a little scalp rub. Oh, dreadlocks in the heat, like, anything in the heat, but this lot can get a little bit like, get your hands in there, give everything a good rub down in that, and just, thank your body because we can be really hard on ourselves, but our bodies are pretty amazing. So let's just draw this little moment to a close. Take a beautiful deep breath in when you are ready. Thank you, thank you, thank you for joining me this evening, and thank you to our spirits and our guides and Grandmother Moon, Father Sky, Mother Earth, our angels, our guides, those that are seen and unseen that walk with us. And as you breathe in, completely feeling your roots into Mother Earth, knowing that you can let anything that go that hasn't resonated with you this evening and draw on your own inner wisdom as you walk forward. Allow a word to just bubble up that anchors you in this moment, that anchors you in this present time. What affirms how you're feeling right now? Taking a beautiful deep breath in and a big long sigh out. Or maybe just popping your word in the chat by way of bringing this moment to a close. Make sure you drink plenty of water. It's a big ritual, big movement. Seen still. Present, that's how I feel. Lucky, secure. Peace, love, and sisterhood. Death and a return, yeah. Survival. Hey. So thank you. I'm going to close our recording, and then those of you that want to stay, we just have a little time together. Much love to those of you that have watched this on replay. We'll see you soon.